day off. My name's Corey, and of course, sitting with my best bud, Tone. What's up, bud?
No hey today.
Hey!
There you go. What's up, brother?
We're getting it, man.
Dude, man, I'm super excited. Well, I think this might be the funnest podcast yet.
I can't wait to get
I'm
in.
anticipating this.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know what I mean?
But first, let's thank Salon Centric, because we're at day 2 of Premier Philadelphia.
Yep.
Thank you,
Premier Philly as well.
Exactly, and thank you, Salon Centric. They set us up in the VIP room. I don't know why we're here.
We got 2 VIPs at the table.
I know, we're the least VIP in this room.
Oh, absolutely.
And actually, we can talk about that in a sec too. But go ahead.
Yeah, we have a special guest, 2 special guests, but the one I want to talk about. We were sitting here last night finishing up or getting ready to start our last podcast of the night, and she was doing she was over there, and you can hear her coach an individual. Mm-hmm. And this particular person that we're going to be talking about, bring her on. I mean, she's literally changing somebody's life as she's sitting down.
It's funny because her branding is changing lives, right?
Yeah,
like she tags it all the time, and we were able to witness it, not in front of any camera, not in front of anybody, but it was just her being her in the raw.
Right, and what she was doing last night, you can feel the emotion. You can feel, as this person looking at Jen, just absorbing everything that she was giving.
Cat out of the bag.
Oh, they'll let it out.
Our first guest today is going to be Jen Planck, and if you know Jen changes lives, and for the first time, not on a stage, for me at least, we got to witness it.
Yeah, and dude, I had the chills.
Absolutely.
Watching her change this young girl's life.
Absolutely.
I was like, oh my God.
So our second guest today is Mr. Justin Issac, and we can't wait to get in his story. Just a little bit of back. Like we talked to Justin back in June at Premier Orlando, another Premier event, right?
Right.
At Premier Orlando. And I want everybody to go back and listen to the first 5 minutes of the Justin podcast, because we actually, for the first 5 minutes, we talked about Jen. Right. What people don't know is that Jen was sitting at the table, but we told her she couldn't talk. And if you know Jen, it's impossible for her not to talk. So
she used to have teeth print in her lips from biting it so hard.
Lips, I know. Right. We were. It's so funny. So for the first 5 minutes, you'll hear us laughing, but we're not really laughing at Justin. Sorry, Justin. But we're laughing at Jen squirming in her chair there, not being able to talk.
Dude, this is going to be a roller coaster ride.
I can't wait. Should we get in?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Justin Issac and the amazing Jen Planck, welcome back, both of you guys, to your day off.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you guys doing, man?
Welcome.
Well, we're great. How are you guys?
Amazing. So super stoked to see you guys. And Jen, legit, man, it was awesome last night.
I didn't even know you guys saw that. I'm over here trying not to cry, sitting next to Justin like we haven't even started yet, and I'm like, God, that was really a spontaneous moment. So thank you for that.
We knew it, man. It was cool.
It was crazy. Like that room was empty by the end of the night. And it was just me and that girl for a while. But I think those are the moments that it wasn't about being on stage. It was what happened after.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Literally, we're sitting here at the table, and I had little hairs on my neck rise. I was like, wow, she's the real deal.
Yeah, she's the real deal.
You're literally giving her life-changing information.
Thanks, man.
That's rad, because it's like, as a parent, you think about your kids is what it makes me think of. And it's like, they always show up when you're looking. So it's like, if you think about that, the idea of when the camera's on, right? Or when PR's around, or when something like that, people show up to their heightened. But it's how do you act when nobody's around?
Amen.
Right? How do those kids act when the parents aren't around? Are they the little badasses doing keg stand little things? Are they cursing? Are they a little 10-year-old smoking and doing, are they those kids? Or are they the ones that the other parents come up to you and actually say, like, your kid's pretty rad, like they were this and that, So that's what it makes me think of. So as a parent, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Not like you're my little kid.
Daddy Justin.
You're just my little Boo Bear.
Stop it, Boo
Listen
Bear.
here, Boo Bear. Listen here, Boo Bear. You're everything.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Oh, they're hugging it out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now
cool.
Justin's crying.
Try it up.
I will have to say, Justin, you have the coolest friggin' glasses in the industry.
He does.
You're like you got like this Elton Elvis thing going, right?
From head to
They are
toe.
so- yeah, he is dope.
I've never been tossed those two, Gabriel, but sure, I'll take Elton Elvis combo. Sure. I was more thinking like Tupac and Deepak.
Oh, I like that.
Like half and half, like
or maybe
I'll
two,
cut
maybe
you and
three
I'll
chains.
pray for you. Well, what they are, honestly, is, as we get older, some things get a little more worn. My eyes got a little worn, and I had to get some specs. And I went and tried on regular glasses, and I was like, ugh, dork. I cannot.
He's looking at me.
I tried to do the contacts, and I can't. The idea, just even talking about it, thing. So I got regular scripts, thought, I'll get some designer pair, and I wore them, and I couldn't. So then somebody told me, why don't you get sunglass frames?
Right.
And you get sunglass frames, and your prescription will be a little bit more because of what they are, but you could get them. So now I just get sunglasses that I like, and I get my prescriptions put in. You could do the same. Hashtag follow the leader. Yeah, but thank you for noticing.
You ever thought about LASIK?
Surgery? No, I don't play that.
Right.
My mother is an RN. She went straight from hippie to surgery and became an RN, and that's where she's always worked, heart surgery specifically. But for me, surgery is not in the equation. I'll go to the Far East and rub some ginseng on my knee, or Robitussin, like Chris Rock said back in the day, or something. A knife's for survival in my life. It ain't to cut me for surgery. Man.
Save it for Africa.
Hey, man.
Yeah, dude.
Did you see him in Africa?
Oh my God.
I don't know if you guys follow Justin on social media, but literally last week I walked into the salon and I was like, oh my God, Justin is in Africa with 9 lions and we have a show next week. Literally. It was awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
You know what's crazy is that we just saw Justin a couple weeks ago at BTC, and the next day he's in South Africa.
Right.
And I thought it was like a throwback, right? Because you're like,
that's what I thought, but you went back. It was your second time. Or no,
it was my second time,
third?
but no, it was a year ago, for the record. But I was doing a show, and some people had asked me about it, and I decided that for the next 2 days, I would put everything we did in Africa on my stories, because a bunch of people wanted to see it, and they'd only seen a rando picture, so that's why I did it. But it doesn't matter, for all intents and purposes. You're damn right. I got on a plane, and I went to South Africa.
right.
What's the big deal? This is hair. Anything's possible, Lacey.
That was pretty cool, man. We were. I was definitely envious of your South African trip.
Well, it's aspiration for you to get there. You know what I mean? It's amazing to see the animals.
Right.
Like it's just it's life changing.
I can't imagine. Was there a little fear there that you were going to get eaten up?
Yes. Yes. Well, the fear came when I asked the spotter who sits on the front of, the range, when he's up there on his little chair, and I asked him, so what's this and that? And he's like, no, we don't have a gun. And I'm like, well, you don't have it on you, but it's right there, right? Like you're strapped, you know what I mean? Like it's right there. Like, all you got to do is reach under, like back in LA, right? No, we don't. And I'm like, what? And he's like, no, we have relations. And I'm like,
relations?
Well, relations fall to crap all the time in this world, So you're telling me you and this rhino got relations, and I just need to trust that when you shoo him away, he's going to turn around. But yeah, that's the reality of it. Wow. It's almost like a whole rhythm of life out there, and they've become, safaris, and this has become part of the situation. But I was afraid when we got to the lions, because we were probably about 20 feet away from the lions, and there was one moment where I was talking about them, and one looked at me, and I felt, when you make eye contact with another human, and it's one of the weirdest things in the world, because at that moment you feel something, and it's unexplainable, and you could be driving down the freeway, and if you happen to catch eyes, you catch it. Well, that lion caught my soul.
Oh boy.
And he took my breath. And I'm being 100% honest. When I was sitting there talking to my girl, telling Major, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Look, we're sitting here lions. And then all of a sudden he squared and put his head up and looked at me, and I went, and I felt like if I breathed, he would kill me. And not because he was bad, but because you done messed up. you messed up, right?
Right.
And so at that moment it was, but other than that, no, you're so caught up in not being a kid because you're not an age, but you're just in awe.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
You're just in awe at these animals.
I mean, you are a kid in that situation, right? Because you
Yeah.
know, it's just about experience and, what
Sure.
we've had.
I think that's one thing that's really cool about Justin is he puts himself in those environments that bring out the spirit of a younger person. And, Justin likes to make things fun and funny. It's always a good time. You always feel good about not only just yourself hanging out with him, but like you're going to laugh and you're going to be a little silly. And I think the thing about Justin is he's very vulnerable because he does put himself out there to have new experiences that continue to bring that childlike spirit out in you, which is one of my favoriteest things about you, and it has been for over 2 decades. Like, I just am attracted to the spirit that he puts out into the world, and I respect that he stays true to the child that he is on the inside, because there's a little bit of that in me also. Like, I'm never gonna be like, I'm not a leading lady. I'm Jen. Like, I'm not at that like proper, but it's just been, I love that about you, and it's so inspiring to watch you. And I think that every time you share that with, our industry and our people, you give everybody else permission to also be childlike.
Amen.
And be in awe of the things that grown-ups forget to be in awe of. So thanks
you.
for that.
Well, I think
Thanks,
there's
kiddo.
balance, right? I think
Yeah.
there's balance. There's some parts of me that could definitely be more grown up, but I don't want to be an adult. I don't want to be satisfied with things. I don't want to get bored with things. I don't want to become status quo. I don't want to report to a job.
Right.
And I think that you could be grown up, but you don't have to be an adult. And sometimes we switch that and it becomes mundane and boring and task-oriented life. And there are things we have to do that are tasks or chores in life, or paying the bills, if you will, and things. But, like, why can't we have a kid's spirit? Like, isn't that the happiest you ever were? Like, if you think back to the happiest you ever were, or you think back to, like, the first time, Jen,
And
you
I
got
kept
your
getting
hair
beat
done.
up as a kid. What are you talking about? Sorry.
Well, that's okay. It's probably funny when you think back at it.
When they think back,
Well, I used to get beat up too. I got beat up. I got laughed, everything. But then you beat or you do whatever. Life comes around. But I don't know. Everything's awesome, Jen.
I think so too.
Yeah, got to stay a kid and look at things through child's eyes, because they're always in amazement. You know what I mean?
And throw a wrench in it. Like, okay, so I'll tell you, last night, a moment for me, because we both made kind of announcements at this VIP panel last night, and neither one of us had told the other one, like, what the thing was. And so I'm sitting next to you, and Justin announces that after how many years?
It's 15,
16 years of being on the road, being our Justin Issac, doing the show tour, putting everything out there, that you are literally going back to the salon. Like, my face fell off. Like, that's the most amazing thing. Talk about like a hair standing up on the back of your neck thing. Like, what?
Yeah, I got that too.
tell us the story. Tell us the story.
My dream was never to own a salon. It was to be a color director for a company and to travel the world and do all those things. And maybe about 5 years ago, I had some ladies approach me about wanting to open a color bar or something with me. And all I needed to do was create it. They were investing this and that. And I went about 30-40% into it. And I decided, I don't really like these ladies.
This isn't fun.
Yeah, I don't really want to. You got to fall in love with the work.
Yes.
Right? You got to fall in love with the dirty work. You don't just see people on stage and go, oh, I'm going to get there. You got to fall in love with the model room and all the tasks and the traveling. So it was kind of that same thing, and I didn't want to have a salon. I realized when I was in school, I wanted to be a director. And then when they present that opportunity, I was like, okay, what I like about that idea is creating culture. I like the idea about giving kids opportunity. I like the opportunity about being able to create like scholarships for foster kids, ward of the state, things like that. But I never had bigger than that. And I think that the industry's changed. The industry's changed a lot, with social media and how and where you get education, and also brands. There's been a huge backlash, against brands, force feeding the industry things and people wanting to get it how they want it, when they want it, where they want it. So it's affected us at brands as educators, as directors on every level, as well as the influencers. What I tell a lot of my influencers is be careful. It's a fine line between aspiration and a-hole, you know. So walk that line carefully, you know. And also, you know, it's who are you influencing?
And why?
You know?
What's your reason for making
know?
an influence? Like, is it for your ego, or is it to make a difference for that person? Like, I think, you know, that whole influencer thing kind of got like a little bit cray-cray for a minute. And, you know, we need influencers, but there were people that were influencers before. We just call them icons. You know, they were already influencing live, face-to-face. Social media is amazing because it gave more people an opportunity to have a platform to also influence, which is a wonderful thing because there's enough for everyone. However, with that being said, if you're just posting to post or just hashtagging to grow your own self, then there's not that deep intention that I think that we share, which is to give it to other people. It's not really about us. Like, I think it's funny that you're like in Africa with a lion, but I wonder who's watching and thinking, like, if Justin can like build a career in sustainability and be able to take a trip to go on a safari in Africa, then maybe I can too.
Sure.
You know, if Justin can throw a wrench in his career 15 years in and go back and start all over again as a brand new stylist in a salon, then so can I at any point in my career.
Wow.
Well, it is crazy. And on that, it's like anybody could do what we do, just put in the work. And we need influencers, like you said, we need that, but put in the work to make everything better, and then it's fine, you know. So for me, like I said, things have been changing, this and that. And, you know, life changes, you know, where you're at in your life, taste, a lot of different things change. And I look at it and my career, I've been with Redken 22 years. I haven't worked in a salon since 2003. I've gone to so many countries. That safari, Redken paid for.
Wow.
Right?
That's amazing.
Redken's paid for every trip that I've taken. You know, I did a show there, and then I stayed 2 weeks. I go to here, and I stay. So my passport has been stamped. I've been blessed by everything I say Shades EQ has given me.
We built this city
on Shades EQ. Yeah, you know that Jefferson Starship one?
Right.
Yeah. Dun, 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 on Shades EQ. That'll be the commercial break nest podcast by Justin Issac. But that being said,
Redken needs to cut over a check.
my passport, well, tell him to do it. I'll put that in my next contract. But that was the thing, was I didn't want to have the salon. I didn't want to do this and that. The industry's changed. It's like, all right, what am I going to do? I've done everything. I've done every show. Our Redken Symposium in Las Vegas, every artist wants to do it. Even artists that aren't with us want to do it. And I've started that. I did my first one 2001, and I've done every one since. I think I just did my 11th one. I'm thankful to do each one that they ask me. I don't take it for granted yet. I've done everything and done that. And not saying that I'm over with it, but like, what's next for me, you know? And I'm at a point in my career where I don't want to travel every week. Right. I don't want to travel every week to get my monies. Right. And I need to get my monies because I'm having a little baby girl in December, which is awesome.
Congratulations, brother.
Thank you. And so I just need to be more home grounded, you know, and it's the same way when my daughter was about 12 to 14, 15, I slowed my roll on the road. And I backed off my bookings, and I decided I didn't go back in the salon, but I decided I could live off this amount of money and do this for these couple years because baby girl needs me to pick her up after school and to be there. She doesn't need idle time. So, you know, I'm kind of at a place with that, and I'm excited. I got an opportunity, you know. Rebecca Taylor is opening up a salon in West Hollywood, the Honey Hair Lab, and she reached out to me and asked me that she would love for me to come and work with her, and she's assembling an incredible staff of people there. And, you know, it didn't take me long to ponder it, you know, and think about it, and I knew right away that that was the move because it scares me. The stage doesn't scare me. This doesn't scare me. Traveling doesn't scare me. Being a parent doesn't scare me. Having to build a clientele scares me. Having to do somebody's hair within 45 minutes scares me. Having to take direction from somebody because they have enough money to pay my prices and more scares me, because I've lived in a campaign, photo shoot, model-driven world. So it's my way. You get it?
Yeah.
Right? It's these colors. It's this look. So, yeah, I have a lot of fear. I mean, I'm being 100% transparent. I have a lot of fear. I might be everything to people in this industry, and people might throw around icons, influencers, butthead, whatever they call me, you know. But the reality is, in West Hollywood or Los Angeles, I'm nobody. I'm nobody. There's kids that are killing it, that have been there. I'm the slowest turtle on the block.
All right, settle down. That's
Hi,
enough.
Hi, I want a full weave. Could you book her out for 7.5 hours, please? We're going to have a platinum card on Friday and Saturday. But that's the reality, you know? So the reality is I know this. I'm prepared for it. So I'm going to go back in and I'm going to do free hair for about 6 weeks. And I'm just going to go and get the people that I want and do free hair to get my place up to it. And I'm good for that. I've been making money for a long time off of hair. I could do free hair for a couple months, no problem.
That's amazing.
Life's good.
I love that perspective.
I think it's funny that like your perspective is that, because last night we were talking about it. I'm like, can you imagine Justin in a salon? Like, can you just imagine? It's going to be like Kramer coming to work every day. Like they are going to have so much fun with him, and the clients, like you're going to be so great. Like as a, you know, because I've been behind the chair the whole time. And own a salon with my best friend and my business partner, Lacey. Hey, whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop. And, you know, even for me, I think I'm looking at a different avenue. You know, last night we announced that, you know, I have an app now, which is like the most craziest, uncomfortable thing. Before, when my business partners were like, Jen, you know, you're going to announce that the Jen Planck app is going to be next month. And, like, I literally broke out in a sweat. And I'm like, I know I need to, like, say it, but when I say it out loud, it's going to be, like, real. And I sat out there and I had my little note card, like I couldn't even remember what the number was because I was so nervous. But I think both of us saying that out loud and having new adventures, I can't wait to like see where you and I both are like in 90 days or 6 months, and the next conversation that you're sharing about the salon and I'm sharing about how wonderful it's been to be a part of technology.
By the way, I did text that number, so I'm on the early bird.
Stop it, you early bird, you. Yeah. Yeah, so we have an app. That's really cool. Who would have ever thought?
You know what amazed me about that number is that Jen had no notes, and it's like a 55 number.
Yeah, we had to have number. Say it again. Say it again.
Right.
Jen, give it out, man.
It is 919-626-3332. Thank you, Lacey, for that number.
So So they just they
just text Planck, Planck, to that number, and you will receive a text that lets you know that you're on our early bird VIP list. And as soon as the app goes live, you'll be contacted and you'll get the first.
Download this junk.
Yeah. So it's cool because it's an app that's created by hairdressers, working hairdressers. So it's not created by someone who's just trying to do something for hairdressers. Like, we're gonna like literally take it into our space with our staff and think about our day and what we really need. And then they're actually going to customize the app for a hairdresser, which I think, you know, bridging the gap between the stylists that are in the trenches and technology is super important today. Like, we can't leave each other behind, because technology for me scares the, you know what, out of me, like the way that it is for you behind the chair. Like the thought of me having to turn on the computer or like press a button or swipe, click, swipe, you know, it's not my thing, but I'm going to do it because it makes me uncomfortable and it's something I've never done before, and I need to do it because it makes me uncomfortable. And so I hope that I inspire other people that maybe are like me and are uncomfortable with technology to utilize it as a tool.
Both of you guys brought this up. Can you share this with our listeners? I mean, obviously, both you guys saying it scares me or makes me uncomfortable to whether go into the salon or create technology. What is it about being uncomfortable or scares you and going after that? I mean, a lot of people tend to kind of back off of that, or they don't. Well,
that's with that fear. Like it gives you permission to not go forward, right? With these two, it's giving them permission to move forward.
I'm too afraid. I think I feel kind of like what you said earlier. Like, I would rather be scared than bored. I would rather see things and risk than miss seeing something. Like, I don't want to have the fear of missing out. I want to feel the fear and participate in everything. Like, I think you can learn. You know, Justin says it all the time. You don't have to go to church to like go to church. Like, it's everywhere. There's experiences everywhere.
# you don't go to church to find God.
That's the one. Thank you. Stop it. But you know what I mean? Like, I think he and I would be so bored if we just kept doing the same thing forever. Like, as an artist, whether you're an artist of color or people or life or design, you crave that newness. So it keeps you, the spirit of creating and learning and growing. Like, how can we teach other people to grow if we're not growing ourselves? How can we tell other people, put yourself out there, you can do it, if we're not doing it ourselves? We're not going to ask you to risk and try new things, and then we're just doing the same thing. Like, that's not a real leader or a mentor. We got to walk the walk and not just talk it. And plus, it's fun. I kind of like it.
Feels like I'm at church, though.
I like to squirm a little, I like that feeling. It's like an adrenaline rush for me to be a little scared sometimes. I like the way it feels. I mean, I'm not going to swim with sharks or anything, but
I did.
Stop it. Of course you did.
You?
Yeah, we did in South Africa.
Oh, because
we did the safari in the bush, and then we went and we did
the sharks'
great
kitchen.
white sharks. Yeah, cage diving.
my son just graduated high school, and I said, all right, son, you're about to turn 18, and you're graduating. What do you want to do? Let's go do something, right? I'm thinking he's like, let's go hike in the Grand Canyon or something like that. He goes, Dad, let's get our scuba certification. Let's go swim with some sharks.
Yes, boy.
So we just got our scuba certification. Now we're just going to plan a trip for the shark dive.
South Africa?
This is the last time you see Tony
No,
with
we're
all
going
his
to go
limbs.
to Tiger Beach off of the Bahamas, where we can there's no cage. Literally, we're swimming with tiger sharks.
No, I know. The Bahamas. Be careful.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Be careful. Get your left and right hook.
Right.
God.
My wife, she goes, don't come home without him.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, it's his idea. It's me. Like, it could have been a friend of his, right? It's me.
Yeah.
She's like, still, don't come home without him. All right.
Touche, man. Touche.
That's awesome.
Hey, to what you said, I think for me, I've never killed the salon. I've never killed the salon. I've been in this industry licensed since 93, but I never killed the salon. I was that kid that, if you listen to my first podcast, I got into a salon by accident, started working there. The owner paid for me to go to school. He passed away from HIV, from AIDS. Never saw me do my work, but I was just a kid. I didn't get into hair for any reason. I didn't grow up with it. And, that was my story. Like, I didn't want to get into this, and I was the kid that when I got into a salon after I was in, from school, they're like, oh, you understand people. Oh, you just go on the floor, just do this. You know how to do this and that. Nobody taught me how to foil hair, blow dry hair, cut hair. They're like, here's these alpha blades by Russ. Just chop it up. You make a Jennifer Aniston haircut. You're all friends. You're all friends. It's friendly. And I was like, all right. But honestly, that was it. And they're like, don't worry. We got people that can back you out of any situation. So I was on the floor just feeling like I was always over my head. And I remember, bleaching somebody's hair off, and I didn't know, you can't really overlap. Because I thought I saw somebody else do it, but I didn't realize they had something different in the other bowl, right? Mm-hmm. I thought it was just bleach, so I didn't know. So I learned kind of that way. So I've never had a full clientele. I don't understand what the idea of pre-booking is. I know what it is, but I've never lived in that way.
Justin, we have a class that you can come to. It's called Game Changers.
You're a game changer.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're a game changer, but you
I would totally
you should
be
do
down.
it. We talk
you
about
should
pre-booking.
do it. You should come to Honey Hair Lab.
I will.
Because one of the things that we're doing there is we have education, we're doing photo shoots, different things, a whole lot of things there, and we're hosting different educational events. We're actually having the Ben Moline project there in October is the first person that'll be there. So that's Game Changers should come. Because for me, as I said, Jen, I've never had that. I hear hairdressers and they're like, I have one opening December 20th until the end of the year. And there's a little voice in me that goes, fox off. And I just get the fox out of here already. What the fox is going on here. And I think it's awesome, but as I said, I don't know that world. I was that kid that would have two people spread through the day and happy because they were high tickets, but they'd be spread today, and somebody call like, hey, do you have time to this and that? And I'd be looking, I'd be like, when do you think? In the afternoon? And I'd be open from 1 to 4, and I'd be like, I got a 3:30 only. And they're like, oh, and I can't come then. Sorry. I had time, but I was like, no, you can't just call me. Right? I wanted to be that. So I've never done it. And education took off. I needed to make money for my baby. My son is 28 now, and I needed to make money. Education was the ticket. Sunday and Monday, salons are closed. I could make money in education. But then it started taking off. I got good at it. And that's where I went. So my intention, my focus was there to changing lives, like Jen is saying. I saw impact in people. Clients just paid me money and tipped me. Sometimes were arrogant. There was 2 different worlds I was living in, right? Affecting hairdressers, going into salons on a very grassroots level, not big stages yet, having connections, or doing my clients that didn't always appreciate it. So I went to what appreciated me, which is generally what we do in life. Hopefully you're with the one that loves you. Right? Like, that's the truth. So that's what I did, and that's what led me away from the salon in 2003. I was working 2 days a week, and it started pulling me more and more and more. And I was like, I can't, So the one thing, if I look at what I haven't done, I've never killed it in the salon. And that messes with my ego. And, we want to say, oh, don't have an ego, it's bad. And sure, egos are bad in bad situations, but I couldn't be where I'm at without having an ego. I couldn't be what I do without having an ego. The difference is I'm not ego driven. And the difference is I have a team ego for my people and my fams and people that ride with me. I don't have my individual ego. But that being said, I have a quiet confidence that I'll slay anything. And you have to have that, but that comes from sense of self. And that's developed long before this age we're all at now. You have that sense of self by 5 years old, the latest. You know what it is, and you could see it in people. So for me, I need to do that. I need to go in the salon, and I need to build a book, and I need to be pre-booked, and I need to make some money like people are. Redken pays me good. I don't need the money, but the reality is I want to go get it. I want to upgrade my life. I want to buy a house. I rent because I've never wanted to live by my neighbors for 20 years or 50 years. But, I want to anchor down one day. I want to do those things. So I look forward to it, but I'm scared as shit. I'm so scared.
I'm so excited for you.
I'm so excited too.
I'm so excited for you.
I can't wait to talk to him in like a year.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, I can't wait for the update. Like, this is going to be amazing.
I can't wait either.
I know. I'm so excited.
I want to fast forward. No, I don't. That's a lie. We always say we do, but like, honestly, the struggle is the best part in the end. It's like the tougher the road, sometimes the better the road.
Yeah. It is. It's so true. Like, those are the moments that you laugh about, like, and you look back at, like, you don't look back at like the roar of the crowd or the moment that you win a contest or an award or something that is so short lived. It's like when you think back of the memories of like you and I like coming up sideways at the stairs at the symposium when it wasn't even our turn. Like, we're not talking about like the roar of the crowd at the end. We're talking about Kramer and Kramer coming up sideways up the steps backstage, laughing about the journey. When I think back about January being with you at the symposium, I literally had like my friend guiding me through this outrageous, over the top, humbling moment in my life. And standing next to you was like the best place for me to be. And I have never laughed so hard in my entire life. But I will follow this man anywhere, not to Africa though. But I will.
Sharks,
but if we're like at a hair show and he's like, "Jen, this will be Rod," I'm like, "Okay."
It usually is.
It always is.
It usually is.
Hey, when did you guys first meet? Do you guys remember that meeting?
I met Justin in New York City at the Redken Exchange. I was a very young hairdresser. My friend Vicky and I went. We were with Glitz Salons, and there was about 12 of us. And Sammy was there, and Justin, and George Alderetti. There was a whole crew of just iconic artists. And we got to go out to dinner at this Italian restaurant, and we were all sitting around the table. And at some point, my friend Vicky and I ended up in the back of a cab with Justin and Sam. And I don't even know what happened. We ended up in the lobby sitting around a piano, which none of us play the piano, but we were, with martinis. And we were
Apple martinis.
Yes. And we were just laughing, having such a good time. And we were a Redken elite salon. So, I was born and raised with Redken education with Glitz. And so Justin was like one of our mentors. And we just really, I think, are very similar. I think we enjoy each other's company. We respect the hell out of each other. And we like to have fun. And we've never let our brand or our position prevent us from like supporting each other with whatever thing we're doing in our career. And so, it's been over 2 decades that I've known Justin and gone to his classes, and he's been such an inspiration. But it's the backstage stuff, it's the sitting around with, him and his team after the show, hanging out, breaking bread. And of course, the Redken Symposium was like a life changer for me.
That's so cool.
We're all just carnies.
Stop it.
Traveling in the circus.
That's a different level. That was like Circus to Redken right there. That was amazing.
Yeah, but
Symposium?
It's connections.
It is.
Right.
It's connections. It's like anything in life. Some people you just connect with, and time doesn't matter. And then there's other people you got to have a pickup point.
Yeah.
Right? You gotta
we
have
never
some
had
point
that.
of
It's never been
reference.
weird. It's never been like,
Well, it's been weird.
shut up, you're weird. So, I mean, but like, intentionally weird maybe.
Yeah.
Caw-caw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every now and then you'll see Justin and I bird calling through a hair show floor and with a flock of people behind us, just being weird because it's okay.
I thought you were doing the bird calls to find each other.
I don't know. Sometimes. Every now and then. Some random.
She's
actor.
usually easy to find with her 2 braids.
Stop it. Knock it off.
Yeah.
I have a hard time finding her because she's only about 4 feet tall.
Stop it.
I roll with Hugo. Sup, Hugh Shoot.
Yeah. Hey, who?
Hey, Hugh. That's awesome. He's got some good news, big news coming too, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, brother Hugh just got engaged.
Woo woo. Shout out to the
Engaged.
happy couple.
Yep, he got engaged to another Redken artist, Megan, and I don't know if they're going to make little Redken babies, but they're doing their thing. Yeah.
Little Redken baby.
But I'm a little sad. I can't lie. He used to be my ride or die. He still is, but we lived about 20 minutes away from each other. So he left. I'm like, on a couple days, I'm like, hey, you live in Washington. Okay, But other than that, I'm happy for him. We all got to live our dreams. It's not about whatever. You got to do what's right for you. And I'm happy for him. Take a chance on love. We all should.
That's it, man.
That's awesome.
That's it. How was Justin when you when you had the conversation with Redken that you're coming off the road? What did that feel like?
I haven't.
Oh, you just did.
I did last night. Last night they found out too.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And just meaning, that we're all independent contractors now more than ever before.
Sure.
In this industry. Brands make choices as we have to make choices, whether it's the hair industry or whether it's the sports industry. Owners can't just own and players can't just play. I need to get paid for my likeness on my jerseys. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, yeah, it's it'll affect me in that world, but it's all relative to my contract talks and what I have and this and that. But at the end of the day, whether it's from my side or Redken's side, they want me to live best as well. So
Sure.
I'm okay with it. Yeah.
It's awesome.
I know the team's got to be they don't know yet, but they got to be a little bummed out that
Well,
just coming off the road.
I mean, yes and no. I think that, people get attached to people or to me or this and that. But as I said yesterday in my classroom, we got a lot of incredible people, and I'm not for everybody. For everybody that likes me, there's people that don't like me. And I've learned that in this career that you can't be aspiring and inspirational and a hero to some without being a joke and an asshole to some.
So true.
It's the reality. It's the high and low. Some people are going to see you as a pedestal and, oh my gosh, the things he says, and I want to listen to him, and oh, he's so spiritual. And other people are like, shut the hell up.
It's true.
And that's the reality of it, and you have to somehow let go of the outcome and quiet your voices in your head, especially if you have a mic on you on stage or doing a podcast.
For sure.
And you have to quiet those voices and just give it what it is. But
Are
you're
you
going to be that.
Are you going to walk away completely? Are you going to do it part time? Are you going to fill in? You got to.
No, I have no plans to step away or anything like that. I just want to be, a little more directed in the things that I choose to do. With that, so I want to lessen my dates to a certain amount and then do certain things, But no, I'll still be involved. I'll still be heavily involved with everything with Redken and doing those things. I just am going to choose to not do certain things because I need to be home with my baby. Yeah.
I love
World
that.
No better
Justin
reason than
Issac.
that, is it?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
Right.
I'm looking forward to that. It's been 28 years since I changed diapers with my son. Well, my daughter's 22, so a little less, but it feels like a different life. You know what I mean? Like, how it is. Think of 22 years ago, where your mindset, let alone your taste, all these things. And now I'm like, I'm excited. It's amazing. I can't wait to hold my little girl.
It's almost like you're going full circle, because you had kids at a younger time in your life. You were in that salon, then you kind of did this, and now you're all the way full back circle. You're back in the salon. You're going to be a new dad. Like, I wonder.
I couldn't imagine those sleepless nights.
Literally,
anymore.
I wonder, I can't wait to see how it all is actually.
I don't
full
know.
Circle.
I'm excited. Well, after that, I'm going to go and I'm going to get my degree. That's my next fear I got to conquer.
What? Really?
Yeah, go back to school.
Because I took a couple community college classes because I wanted my kids to go, and I feel like it's better to set as an example than just say go. So I did it, and I learned a lot of things I didn't learn when I was a kid, and that's one thing that I would like to do. I feel like I'm a very smart man, but I'm life smart, I'm travel smart, I'm not book smart, and it bugs me. It bugs me that I'm smart and I'm fast at things, but the books and the school was the thing I couldn't do.
I feel the same way about myself. I really do.
And so I think that's just something in my life that I want to do for myself. Like some people want to go, climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I don't. And I think that's awesome for them and train and go do that. But I don't have an urge to do that. But I would like to get a degree, even if it's from community college. I don't care.
That's good.
I'm going to be that old son of a bitch, cap and gown, Rodney Dangerfield, doing that triple Indy. Wasn't that it? The triple Indy or something he did, right?
Yeah. Oh I was going to give you credit for pull. That's a good pull.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good pull right there.
Yeah. Memory like an elephant.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, watched a lot of TV. That's why I didn't have a degree.
It's juvenile hall. That's day room politics.
Oh, no.
Day room politics. Oh, my God. That's the best.
Oh, my gosh. That's awesome.
That's so cool. So, Jen, here we are, Premier Philly, right?
Yeah.
How do you like the classrooms?
I love the classrooms. I think this show is unique. It's reminds me kind of Lake Geneva a little bit, where it's it's not over the top where you can't talk to people, where it's just so crowded. There's lots of really great conversations happening between some people that are sometimes untouchable at those big shows where it's just jam packed. And, walking the show floor here has been really cool because you're watching people having, 10, 15-minute conversations, sitting down, instead of just walking by and shopping. This isn't about shopping. This is about learning. And hey, you might pick up some cool stuff while you're here, And the classrooms are on fire. I have to say the educators they've brought in from Surface and, Daniel Mason Jones and just everybody who's here, Matrix, the Redkin, the whole team, everybody's on fire. Everybody's just, you walk by the classrooms and the educators are feeling the energy. And so it's a special show. It's our second time, and it's really great to be back.
Hey, you mentioned Surface, but you didn't mention our boy.
Stop it. G. Yeah, we love Surface. We're actually doing an event with Surface in Michigan in November. We had a really good friend of ours that kind of introduced us to the team of Surface and bridged the gap, and unfortunately we lost him. And so we decided in his memory that we would do an event for charity in his memory. And so we did our first one together last November, and it was just an amazing collaboration. It was very emotional, but we all decided that to take the pain and the grief of losing our friend and put it into changing other people's lives would be a good place to put that. And so I'm really excited. I definitely want to give a shout out to Elle and Kelly and Sean and everyone from Surface. It is a privilege and an honor to be a part of that, and I can't wait to see you guys in November. I love that team. I think they're just exceptional, and they just are a really cool team, all of them.
Yeah, that's a good family.
It
Surface
is.
family. They're good people.
It is.
I dig them. So you teased the Lake Geneva, and I just heard about it. I don't know, yesterday? You just heard about it yesterday, dude.
It's the best show ever. We love it.
Hold on, is it a Redkin show or is it a Salon Centric?
It's a Salon Centric show, and it's in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and it's at the Lake Geneva Grand. And this hotel has one elevator, 87 flights of stairs, crazy little nooks and crannies throughout there, fire pit outside. It's just a special place, and we've had a lot of fun there. We definitely have fun at that show. Wouldn't you say that's one of your favorites, Jay?
Yeah, I love that show. It's been around forever, so it's one of those because everybody stays at one location, right? And it's a big lodge is what it is. It's around a lake, literally. Key being Lake Geneva.
Stop it.
But the resort literally wraps around the lake, so you could have a view of it. There's geese and ducks that are there every morning, and it's the original Playboy Mansion.
What?
And
Yeah.
it's the original Playboy Mansion there, and there was actually a murder in, I think, the 60s of a Playboy bunny, and there's a huge conspiracy there in Lake Geneva, but it happened there at the place. And but it feels like a big lodge, but it's beautiful because, like I said, everybody stays there. So there's only 2 restaurants to eat. There's only a couple bars, right? And there's one main stage that just rotates, so everybody's in there. So it feels good because you have a good audience and people are there to learn. They're not there to shop. The floor is very small, and that's not the show you go to. If they want to go to shop, they'll go to Chicago, to ABS.
Right.
You know, and do that. So it's pretty amazing. And then it's just one of those where that's one of the shows where you get connected and you get to learn the other facilitators, the other educators that are there, because like I said, there's no hair war. If you're trying to do something good for our industry, we all support each other, artists supporting artists, you know, and that's a show where you really feel that.
Yeah, because we're all in the same room. Like you said, there's 2 restaurants. Nobody's leaving to debrief off-site, you know, which happens sometimes. And I think it's good for the people who attend also, because you're having dinner right there, and we're sitting right next to you having dinner just like you are.
Yeah. Could
You
be
eat
weird.
too?
Yeah, of course. Sometimes.
So Salon Centric, if you're listening to this, we need 4 press passes for Lake Geneva so we can kind of come hang out, man.
That'd be awesome.
It sounds amazing.
It is.
And it's every other year, right?
Yes.
What time of year?
November. It's the first weekend in November.
Oh, so it's coming up.
It is. It's coming. It's right around the corner.
November 3rd and 4th.
What is that, Wisconsin in November? I don't know.
It's really beautiful.
I'm no
like there's
weatherman.
colors changing, and it's not, it's not winter yet. And from northern Michigan, that's like going to Florida.
From LA, does it feel that way?
No, it
No.
doesn't feel that way. It's pretty cold. I've worn, truth be told, I've worn thermals on stage at Lake Geneva. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You probably call them long johns. Yeah, for
It's
sure.
true. It's true.
And then one year I forgot them, and Lindsay Olson, what's up, Skins? She actually told me, here, you could have these, Jay. And I'm like, what are they? And they were, when you go camping, the little warmers, she puts those in her pockets on stage because she gets cold. And
Are you
that's what
serious?
she
The
did.
little hand
Yeah.
warmers.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
Stage tricks 101. Yeah, you get cold up there. Don't put on a sweater because then you'll be sweating. Just put in some pocket warmers. Yeah,
I like that. Then it's isolated sweating, just
Right.
in your pockets.
Yeah.
exactly.
That's so amazing.
Why they got
man.
wet pockets?
Why are you so cold?
Wet pockets.
God. Speaking of hot pockets, Jay, when you're in the salon, you got to pay attention to stuff. Like it's going to be a
you
whole
need to
new world
eat.
for you. I lit a hot pocket on fire one time at Glitz. I went back to the back, and I'm that girl that doesn't press the right time in the microwave because I think I'm going to stand right there. So I just hit whatever button, and I forgot about the hot pocket. And I went back on to go back to my client, and the microwave is smoking in the back of the salon. Smoke is coming out, and everyone's like, what's in the microwave? And I just kept foiling. I just put my head down. I knew that was my flaming hot pocket. The whole salon smelled like burnt hot pocket for 4 hours, and we had to get a new microwave. So don't leave your stuff in the microwave, homie.
Oh my God.
I've
And
never had a hot
Hot
pocket,
pocket.
and I definitely
pocket.
don't want one now.
No, hot pocket.
I
I like the jingle.
I do too.
It's a great jingle, right?
It is.
And Jim Gaffigan has made it still
thing.
relevant, right?
Right.
That's crazy. When the microwave was on fire, that everyone knew it was Jen.
They did. They always know it's me. And if they don't, they'll be like, it must have been Jen.
Must have been Jen.
I'm a good person
Yeah.
to blame it on if all else fails. Must have been me.
Must have been Jen.
Yeah.
People in the salon do stuff and they're like, oh, it was Jen.
Yeah.
Right?
Ask my business partner. She'll tell you.
I'm going to do it.
Stop it.
When he,
Go ahead. Throw me under the bus. There's
Be
room
in
for
West
all of us under
Hollywood.
there.
Hey, what happened? Jen did it.
Jen did it.
Right, right.
Call her. She's in Traverse
Oh my
City.
God.
Stop it.
Go live with Rebecca. Jen did it.
Right.
That's pretty cool, man.
So what's going to be your last show, or not your last show, but
For this year?
Yeah.
Lake Geneva.
That's
Lake
it.
Geneva.
Same.
I'm there with Hugh Shoot with Hugh, and we'll be there doing it for Redkin. I think Sam Villa's there too with his
Awesome.
brand. Plankster's there, some other people. So yeah, that's usually the last show of the year. Yeah, shuts everything down.
Shuts it down.
Yeah.
right? Maybe Hairdustry be there.
Yeah, you guys should get on.
Yeah, for real. Hey, Salon Centric, once again.
Lake Geneva.
Lake Geneva, 4 press passes. That would be Rod.
Yeah.
It would be Rod.
That'd be Rod.
So Rod.
Can we ride with you or eat at your table or
Always.
Yeah, for sure.
Always.
I want to be
Always.
Justin's ride or die now that Hugh's in Washington or something.
It's easy. I'm pretty simple. Yeah.
That means when he calls you though, you got to fly out from DC to LA.
I mean, I guess I'm in
a
Washington too, right?
Yeah. I know, God, there's a pattern here.
Awesome, man.
That's so great, man.
Thanks for having us again, guys. This
you
is really
guys.
cool. It's just
Yeah.
really fun to sit and have this energy in these talks, and it's an
I love
honor. It's always a privilege to be with you guys.
I love it.
And this podcast is really changing lives. I know you guys mentioned that we're doing that, but right back at both of you for creating such a cool platform for people that features some really inspiring people. Not just us, but you feature people that every time I see a comment about your podcast, it's people just blowing up. Just thank you so much for giving us this amazing gift, and watching you guys from the first one when we all first met to where you are today. Like, wow. Like, what's next for you guys?
We got some things working. We
Yeah.
can't talk about them yet, but yeah, we have some surprises coming up.
Yeah,
Cool.
we got some surprises. But we can do a shout out. Did you guys hear the podcast that there's another podcast out there called No Stylist Left Behind, and Tony and I, we kind of we did separate podcasts on there, but we kind of told our stories a little bit in that. So you
That's
guys should definitely hear that.
amazing.
It's pretty, it's
I
pretty
want
cool.
to go check it out.
Yeah,
sure.
for
It's
sure.
pretty cool.
That's
It was-
so cool.
I feel like mine was all over the place. Like, I was like, bing, bing, bing,
Nah,
bing,
his
bing.
was good. Don't
Yeah,
let him- don't
that's
let
what
him-
it feels like on this side of the
Right.
table.
exactly.
Without the paper.
It's weird. I was telling somebody yesterday, actually, because I said I had to do this. I was telling somebody that when I did it with you guys in Orlando, I was more nervous than any stage I've gotten on.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I was more nervous.
But
than
we're the
that.
easiest dudes in the world, man.
It wasn't. It was
We
about.
couldn't tell you
It was.
because you're the coolest cat I know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it was just the idea of like bearing witness.
Right.
giving
And you
your
like
soul.
whipped your soul out. He put it right on the table.
Well, you have to, but it was just that was. I know that I'm that person. And I know if it's there, it's there,
Right.
and I just let it happen. But yeah, I was more nervous. I was more scared of that, than anything. Yeah. So it was Rod. So I thank you guys for allowing me that platform. It inspired me so much, and I see so much benefit now to podcasts and to how it helps you being present and listening and things like that, and my eyes were totally oblivious to it. So I thank you guys for sure. It inspired the shit out of me.
Thanks, brother.
We appreciate
Thank you very much,
bro.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
We definitely appreciate you guys. I'm a little sad that we're not going to get. I hope this isn't the case, but we may not see Justin on the road.
I think you
for
guys
the
listen.
record,
He's
I'm going to
not
be on
getting
the
off
road.
the road.
I'm not going anywhere. Redken is still going to pay me a lot of money on that contract. I'm still going to be a director there. I'm going to inspire people. I'm going to keep using Shades EQ, all those things.
Right.
We're all good. Yeah.
Awesome.
It just means I'm going to be posted up. See, what happens is I would go home and I just live. Right now I'm going to go home, and besides living, I'm just going to be in the salon a couple days a week. But the reality is when people would go home on Monday, everybody flies home from here today. Most people report to a salon Tuesday. And then
Word.
if they fly out for a show next Friday, they fly out. I just go home. And I've created a life that I could be with my beautiful girlfriend. I could go to the doctor for our baby. I could walk my puppies. I could read. I could do the things that I need to do because I need that pace.
He can wash.
I
Frenchie
could work
balls.
on my Wi-Fi.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
the worst Wi-Fi.
Yeah, for the record,
Not
Justin has
now.
the
No,
worst
he's
Not
Wi-Fi.
now.
updated. He updated.
Shoot. I got a network behind me. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I do.
That's so awesome.
So yeah, everything's good.
Awesome, man.
Justin, Jen, it's the J Day,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We couldn't do it without you. Remember, hairdressers don't hate Monday. We just listen to your day off podcast.
Please do me you.
Hey, so there it is. Hey, this is a message that we've been trying to bring, I don't know, for the last couple months, actually since we started the podcast. Hey, so if you like the podcast or if you find that it's useful, please leave us a review, a 5-star review on iTunes. Leave us a rating and a review.
But if you don't like it, forget about it.
Yeah, totally forget about this message. We also want to thank Sarah and Blaine from Pretty Gritty. Sarah and Blaine, they are a band out of Portland, Oregon, and we just want to thank them very much for allowing us to use their song, Pleased to Meet You, on our podcast. That's cool. I think you can find, actually you can find their music on iTunes.
Peace and hair grease.